I've lived in this building for 5 years. Seventh floor, same view of the city skyline, same dent in the elevator wall, same neighbors who never say hello. It's an old apartment block, 11 floors, 2 elevators, buzzing lights in the hallway. The kind of place you don't notice unless you already live there. Nothing fancy, but it's home. Or it was, until a few weeks ago, when the elevator stopped stopping where I live. It started on a Thursday. I remember because I came back from work late, around 11 p.m. Elevator on the ground floor. I got in, pressed 7. Doors closed. I leaned back, waited. It passed 2, passed 3, then stopped. At 6. Doors opened. Empty hallway. I thought maybe someone had called it. I waited. Nobody got on. I pressed 7 again. Nothing happened. So I stepped out. Took the stairs up 1 floor. A little annoying, but I didn't think much of it. The next night, same thing. Pressed 7. It went to 6. Opened. Nobody there. I pressed the button inside again. Nothing. Tried hitting the closed door button. Tried tapping 7 twice. Tried 7 and then 6 and then 7 again. Nothing worked. Eventually, I stepped out. Went up the stairs again. By the 4th night, it had become a pattern. I could go from 7 to the ground floor just fine. But coming up, never reached 7. Always stopped at 6. At first, I thought the panel was busted, that maybe the elevator just couldn't reach that floor anymore. But then, something weird happened. One morning I left for work. Pressed G. The elevator went down and stopped on 7. I hadn't pressed anything but G, and I was already on 7. The doors opened, but the hallway outside looked different. Same shape, same layout, but the walls were cleaner. The carpet was new. The lights weren't buzzing. And the door to my apartment, 712, it was missing. There was no 712, just 710. Then a blank wall. I didn't step out. I just stared. Then I hit G again. Elevator closed. Went down. No one else got in. That evening, I asked my neighbor, Mark, if he'd noticed anything off with the elevator. He looked at me blankly. What do you mean? Like, it always stops at 6? Never reaches our floor? He shook his head. No idea what you're talking about. I used it this morning. Went straight to 7. I stared at him. You sure? He nodded, then added, You okay, man? You look tired. I laughed it off, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Why me? Why only when I go up? Why stop at 6? Over the next few days, I tested things. Tried using the elevator at different times. Morning, afternoon, midnight, always the same. If I go up, it stops at 6. If I go down, it goes anywhere. One time I got in with a delivery guy. He pressed 8. I pressed 7. It stopped at 8 just fine. He got off. I stayed. Waited. Then, nothing. No motion. No sound. Just stuck between 8 and 6. Then, it dropped 1 floor. Stopped on 6th. That night, I took a flashlight and checked the stairwell. I counted steps, floors, doors, 7 floors. My apartment was still there. Same plant outside my door, same scratch in the wall, but the elevator refused to acknowledge it. It was like something had cut it off. Then came the night with the security footage. I asked the building manager if I could review the elevator camera. Told him someone might be messing with the buttons. He was suspicious, but agreed. We fast-forwarded through the footage. Saw me get in. Press 7. Doors close. Elevator rises. Stops on 6. I don't come out. It just sits there, idle. Like I vanished. Then, it goes back down. Empty. I asked to rewind. Play it slower. Same result. Me going in. Pressing 7. Doors close. No motion. Then it reopens on June 6th. Empty. I stared at the screen. "That's not possible," I muttered. The manager gave me a side glance. Maybe the camera glitched. But I saw myself go in. I never came out. That night, I walked up to 7 again, opened my apartment, sat on my couch, lights off, staring into nothing. What if there were two versions of the building? One where I lived, one where I didn't? What if the elevator chose which one to deliver me to? Or worse, what if I wasn't the one living here anymore? The next few days, I stopped using the elevator. I took the stairs every time. Upper, down, groceries, trash, everything. Neighbors asked if I was trying to get in shape. I smiled, lied, said I was counting steps, said my doctor recommended it. Truth was, I didn't trust it anymore. Not after what I saw on that camera. But then came that night, when I got home and the stairwell was locked. Not just closed, padlocked. No explanation, no sign. I stood there staring at the heavy metal bar across the door, bolted from the inside. Only way up was the elevator. I waited a full 5 minutes just staring at the button. Then I pressed it. It hummed, doors opened, empty car, just me. I stepped in, pressed 7, it went up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, like always, it stopped. The doors slid open, but this time, it wasn't the 6th floor. The walls were wrong. The hallway was longer, wider, and wrong. The numbers on the doors weren't real numbers, just symbols, like someone trying to copy numbers from memory, and failing. The lights flickered blue. There was a faint hum, like a machine running behind the walls. I didn't step out. I pressed close door, but it didn't work. The elevator didn't move. And then I heard it. Footsteps, coming from deep within the hallway. I backed into the far corner, heart pounding. The sound got louder, not running, just walking, slow, steady. And then they stopped, right outside the doors. I couldn't breathe. I stared ahead, waiting for the doors to open wider, but they didn't. Then something moved, a hand, reached in, just the tips of fingers. Long, gray, too many joints. They curled around the door frame, but didn't pull it open. They just held it, like someone letting me know. I'm here. I slammed the emergency button. Nothing. I hit G, 7, anything. Nothing. The fingers slowly pulled back, and then the lights flickered again, and the door shut. The elevator dropped fast, too fast. I fell back against the wall, my ears popped, stomach lurched, then sudden stop. The doors opened. I was in the basement, not the lobby, not the garage, the basement, unmarked floor. The air was cold, still. The walls weren't finished, just concrete and exposed wires. I stepped out, couldn't help it. Something about that hallway above. I couldn't face it again. I walked slowly. Heard the hum again, coming from behind one of the walls. A vent, maybe. I leaned close and heard something. Voices, but not speaking, mimicking. I heard my voice, saying things I had said on phone calls, ordering food, talking to my mom, over and over, repeated, wrong. Then silence. I ran back to the elevator, pounded the button. The doors opened instantly, too fast. I stepped in, pressed 7, nothing. I tried G, then close. The elevator rose, but instead of stopping, it kept going. Past 3, 4 dots, 5. Then the numbers went blank, just a black screen, and the sound of breathing from above. I looked up. There was a vent in the ceiling, one I'd never noticed before, and something inside it, moving, slow. I backed into the corner again, trembling. The elevator slowed, stopped. The screen flashed. -7, -7. The doors opened. There was no hallway, just a space. Dark, open, echoing. I could hear distant sounds like scraping, metal dragging, or breathing that didn't need lungs. Something moved in the dark. I slammed the close door button. It worked. The doors shut. The elevator shot upward. I don't remember the rest. I woke up in the stairwell, just outside floor 7. My bag was beside me. Phone dead. Keys in my hand. The elevator wasn't running. Later that day, I asked the manager if something had been repaired. He looked confused. Said there was no record of stairwell maintenance, no padlocks, no elevator malfunction. He checked the basement with me. It looked normal. No unfinished walls, no wires, just rows of boxes and dust, and no vent. I moved out a week later. I didn't tell anyone why, didn't leave a note, didn't take the elevator. I carried everything, piece by piece, down the stairs, one trip at a time. Now I live in a new place, 5th floor, no elevator, but sometimes, late at night, I hear a soft hum behind my walls, and I remember the buttons, the numbers that weren't numbers, the space below the basement, and I wonder if the elevator ever stopped following me, or if it's just waiting for me to press the button.